When you graduate 894th in a class of 899, eventually it'll show up. And John McCain's mediocre performance at the Naval Academy is showing up big time this week in his total lack of understanding of the nation's financial crisis. He told us he didn't know much about the economy. Now he's proving it. So much so that the Wall Street Journal, perhaps America's leading financial publication, is blasting McCain in an editorial the editorial board sees as inaccurate and, quote, unpresidential comments that McCain has made about the crisis in America's financial system. If you're a Republican running for President of the United States and the Wall Street Journal basically characterizes you as an incompetent buffoon, you're in serious trouble. Specifically, the Journal pointed to comments McCain made yesterday about SEC Chair Christopher Cox. McCain pointed the finger of blame at Cox, said if he were president, quote, he'd fire him for betraying the public's trust. The Wall Street Journal called that assault, quote, both false and deeply unfair. The Journal also said, quoting again, in a crisis, voters want steady, calm leadership, not easy, misleading answers that will do nothing to help. Unquote. Here's the question. What does it mean when the Wall Street Journal slams John McCain on the economy? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file. You can post a comment on my blog. It's probably worth noting the Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who has been a long-time Republican supporter in almost all of the media outlets he controls. So this is particularly, I think, significant.
Yeah, that's true, but it's also true that that editorial page for a long time has really been a strong bastion of conservative economic thought, and you're absolutely right. For them to blast McCain as they did today, that's pretty significant, Jack.
I think it is.
Yep. Thanks very much.
This hour is, what does it mean when the Wall Street Journal slams John McCain on the economy? A blistering editorial in one of America's leading financial publications, excoriating Mr. McCain for, among other things, making unpresidential statements during a time of financial crisis. Marty writes, it means that traditional Republican organizations are trying to separate themselves from McCain, just as McCain's trying to separate himself from Bush. The only question that leaves is why. My guess is because they're smart enough to look down the tracks and see the train wreck that's coming. Marjorie in New York says, I'll get back to you, Jack, after I'm finished jumping up and down. The Wall Street Journal and then Obama looking so presidential today at the press conference, I can't stop screaming for joy. McCain's goose is so cooked. Tiffany writes, it means the Wall Street Journal's sick of McCain's off-the-cuff, meaningless remarks. McCain has no ideas of his own. He hijacked Obama's change theme. Now he's trying to hijack his economic plan. His slogan ought to be, what Obama said. Joe in Florida writes, it means someone's mask is coming off over a month before Halloween instead of a few hours afterwards. Thanks to the Journal for ringing some bells that hopefully will wake up voters before November the 4th. John in Colorado writes, when the conservative Wall Street Journal takes a Republican presidential candidate to the woodshed over his economic comments, he has to be mired pretty deep in the mud. It's unbelievable any candidate running for president of the United States could be this ill-informed or this poorly advised. And Jan writes, it means they're not going to be referred to as my friends anytime soon. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at CNN.com/Cafferty file and look for yours there among hundreds of others. Wolf.
Thanks, Jack.